Yo, this is Necrobutcher, and you're listening to Noise Dosage Media Podcast.
This is Noise Dosage Media. We specialize in music most people hate. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, Instagram, and our website. Let us share the noise with you.
Yo, this is John from Noise Dosage Media, and this episode is brought to you by Begrudgingly Benny. Interested in putting something horrific and grotesque on your next piece of merch? Benny is tucked away in the fiery depths of COVID quarantine, blasting the filthiest of old school death metal and drawing hideous creatures that he is waiting for you to adopt. Go over to Instagram and follow @BegrudginglyBenny and contact him if you would like some really weird original art for your band or label. Super professional, highly recommended.
Okay, so you had Gal on, when was that?
Like this week.
Okay.
He's super smart, man.
We just did a tour in Europe with them. Gal's Beat.
Yep.
Almost 30 shows. Just before. No, when was it? Was it in October? It was in October last year. That's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah. These people are from the west coast of Norway. It's about 500 kilometers, 8-hour drive from Oslo. So it's not like we hang out. But I mean, he's been in the scene for many, many years, and so we see each other now and then. And so it was a good experience. They was a nice. I don't know where it come from. I think it was the record company actually that put us on tour together.
Right on.
But it was like being tour with a bunch of friends, basically.
Perfect.
So that
I
was good.
was curious if you guys actually like had a relationship out of the music scene, being close to each other.
No. Like I said, we live on the other side of the country, so we never hang out like that. But we know each other, and I think it's fair to say we can say that we are friends, I guess.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Back to the questions here. I'll throw them at you.
Do it.
So what do you think all artists and or performers have in common, and what advice could you give to someone just starting out in writing?
Writing music or writing books?
Writing music.
Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah.
When I asked Gall, he basically said he didn't really have any advice. You just have to fucking do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking to say myself, but I was thinking to say it in a different way.
Yeah.
And my way would be that if you feel very strongly for music and urging to play an instrument and feel joy and are happy and with rehearsing and stuff, and if that then you should go for it, because there's no recipe to follow, and the people who make it is sometimes the most unlikely people. Right. And so it could happen to anyone, and I'm talking about success, because and that really don't even matter that much, because my reflection is this: after all these years, I have friends that was also playing in bands, local bands where I am from. They were much better in playing their instruments, making songs, were more advanced than me and Øystein, and you know, they had proper gear and everything.
Yeah, all the bells and whistles.
Yeah. So, but they didn't make it for some reason. But they're still going on. And I meet them at the supermarket and stuff. And what hits me is that I think actually I would be one of those guys that was gonna hang in the rehearsal place still in the weekends, playing in the band, even if it was just like having one concert a year or something like that, just for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the thing is when we call it, let's say you're awarded for doing something, or you get a tap on the shoulder and say, this is good. Yeah. And if you don't get a tap on the shoulder next time, you think this was not good. Right. Or it means also that it's stupid to say, but when you first start to get money for it, then if other people then don't offer you any money, you don't feel appreciated. Mm-hmm. And then after a while you take it for granted. Yeah. And then you're caught up in the thing, you know, and so basically that's what I start to think, that if I saw myself doing it without any success at all, and actually the answer is yes. And this is my advice to people: if they have an urge and to do it, I mean, and it's easy to detect that. I mean, you're playing on your dad's guitar, or you're listening to your uncle's records, or something like that, and you want to do it yourself, go for it. Right on. Perfect. Because if you go around thinking about it, right, you know, then it would be like, I have some other friends that saying, yeah, since I made it, they think that if I didn't, you know, pursue my career in technique or whatever it is, I would be a bigger star than you know. But then they can start to get, it's mental after a while, you know. Yeah, exactly. And, so so you should never hold back. That's what I'm saying, you know. It's better to have done it, to love and lost, than never to be loved. And that's the same in the music, you know. Right. If you never tried it, you would never know how good it was.
I feel like the one thing, like you said, with musicians is they think too hard about shit. And personally, I play guitar and stuff, but when you think too hard, like, it never works out as good as what you envisioned.
Yeah. No,
and I feel like
we are the worst critics. The worst critics of that we have is ourselves. Yeah. And absolutely.
I feel like even recording, when you do demos, you kind of, you go, oh, it sounds really fucking good. Let's release it. But some bands, they wait 7 years because they think to themselves, you know, it could be better. It could be better.
Yeah. And then, after 7 years, somebody else did it.
Right. Yeah, fucking 3 times.
Yeah. And then you release your shit, and then everybody say, oh, it's a copy of them. Yeah. But actually, you were the original ID. Or, let's say, which is very sad, that the people who keep this shit and then release it later, but then it's downplayed because it's bad production. Mm-hmm. It's recorded in the rehearsal place or whatever it is. That's why it wasn't released immediately, because it was like a little bit doubt about the production, maybe. Right. Or something like that. It was a wrong sound on the drums or whatever it was. Small technical things. And then they release it 10 years later. Of course, then it, you know, technology just advanced so fast that their products that was a little bit poor production to begin with now seems like it's just completely crap, you know.
Right.
So
that brings a big point, you know.
Yeah, and another thing I reflect on that is back in the days I was listening to demos, really shitty sounded demos recorded in rehearsal place, and also not only the tape on tape, although the many copies many times. It's not like tape from the original copy or anything. It's just like tape trading. So it was worse and worse.
Even worse.
And I was listening into this fucking noise to try to separate what's the guitar and what's the drums, and like listening into the fucking noise. Hours and hours and hours, shitloads of demos and stuff. And then in my older days, now I listen to stuff that I don't even necessarily are into the type of music, but the production is so fucking great that I just didn't end up listening to it.
Right.
So I'm on the other. I'm now on the other side of the scale because I did my time listening to these crappy productions, and I'm thinking now, for me now it's it's XO all the way. Now I've finished with all this fucking moonshine and shitty beers, and now I'm on French wine.
Yep.
Yes.
Right on.
Yeah. Because this is the evolution. It's just evolution, You go through the whole fucking thing, and then you end up in the end.
Right. Now, what life lessons have you learned from being like the beginning founders of like fucking black metal,
Mm-hmm. It's been, for me, I've been in the middle of the whole, of it the whole time. And so I haven't really stopped to reflect that much. But a lot of people and journalists and stuff over the years have kindly reminded me about all the stuff that is going on. Like you do now, for example, with this podcast.
Right.
So it's different when you read about yourself in the papers, I think. Mm-hmm. But when you have done it enough, and then you start to read about your friends, and so you can look at it from different sides and stuff. That yes, we are on the museum. Yes, we are in the school pensum here. Yes, we have got our Emmy awards and all that.
Yeah.
And so we got all the feedbacks from the record industry and the audience and the society here in Norway also, that we did something special.
Right.
But for me, I'm still in it. So I haven't really got the time to sit down and reflect on everything.
Sit on the couch and really fucking think about it.
It's very hard for me to reflect on it when you're in the middle of it still.
Yep.
Yeah. I did a book 5 years ago.
Yep.
Because I've been thinking about it for a long time, that I needed to kind of write down everything before I forget it. A lot of stuff. So I decided, that would be a perfect thing to write about the first 10 years, scrabble all my old photographs, and get a hold of a good writer, and then sit down and then just empty myself of everything I remember from the 1980s and the beginning of the 90s. And let's say the 10 first years I focused on. It's called the Death Archives. Been out for 5 years now. Was re-released in English by Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth. He's got this book publishing company called Static Peace Library. Was released there in 2016. And that's everything I basically remembered, and then gone through the filter of a journalist that I trust and I know the story well.
Right. They're not going to twist your fucking story around.
No, absolutely no. It just took out what he thought was essential, because it's only 250 pages, and so it's we have to select on what to use for the story, basically, for the book, because I have to limit, basically, cut down to the most interesting things, and that's when I let him do that. Right. From a journalist and the writer's point of view, I just forward all the stories. So, yeah. So that's what I'm doing now under this Corona pause that we just hit now.
Right.
Because I have a deal with this guy to do the following up book, which is going to take the next 10 years from 94, where this book ends, the first one, and to basically when Attila joins in 2006.
Right. So I'm assuming you just do like is he local to you, or do you do like phone calls like this and he kind of listens and types?
No, he comes to my house.
Okay.
And I put on the coffee, and he pressed the record on his, he's got this dictaphone.
Yep.
And we just talk for 6 hours. Then he comes home and then types it down, and when he's done that and sent me the thing, and I go through that, and then he comes back again, and we just do it, until we're finished.
How long
it took a
how long
year.
did that first process take? The first book
took a year, and he was here shitloads of times.
Okay.
It's not like I counted the times. It was like, yeah.
He was your neighbor inside your house.
Yeah, he basically was living here. No, he was here every night, basically, because that was the time that Peter that, he would come around 6, take the last bus around 12:30. So I'm having him try to. The thing is that the guy is special guy.
Right.
And these special people, it's like I told him this is a good timing for me.
Yeah. To really sit and
to do the next book, but I need him to come up with that. He was the one that came up with this idea that now it's a good time. You know what I mean? I can't call him anymore because that would be stressing him out.
Yeah.
I need to wait for him to come up with this good idea himself. And unfortunately, I called him a couple of times too much. And that was a setback, because then he's further away from coming to think of this as a good idea himself. Like he had, so, fuck. But it doesn't, So I hope that he will get around, I hope before the snow start to fall here in, let's say, 8 weeks or something, that we need to get the thing going.
Damn, you're reminding me freaking winter's coming here too. I don't know. Are you big on the winter or no?
I'm a Norwegian. We love winters. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So I ski, and I like actually, just sitting home and firing up my wood stove. Only that. That's just, and walking around in my neighborhood, just smelling the firewood from the chimneys, in this winter landscape. It's like walking around in this postcard over here, in the winter. And
I'm a skier myself, so that's cool to hear.
Cool. We have a saying that it's no bad weather, it's just bad clothes. Yeah. So if you're freezing, you're just bad clothes. Yeah.
I can't snowboard for shit. I solely just ski.
Okay. I mean, I was never in. My friends who are big on skateboards, they are also big on snowboards and surfboards and stuff like that. But I was never into that. But I'm skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that much downhill any longer. I did that when I was younger, but now it's more like cross country.
Right.
In Oslo, it's a wooded, it's forest all around Oslo. So just outside of the city limits, boom, you're in the forest.
Right.
And my good friend Gylve Nagel, a.k.a. Fenris from Dark Throne,
Yep.
me and him are skiing buddies.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So, last 2 years we haven't been out because he had his professor friend.
Yeah.
That also, and he was living around where I was living, so it was easy for him to pick me up.
Yeah.
And then we were a trio. And, but something happened with that professor guy, and I know Gylve has just moved.
Right.
So I have to, but I'm thinking about it, and, we're definitely gonna ski this year if the weather, sometimes, it's not that much snow over here because of the, I don't know what they call it, global heating.
Yep. Now, who's the better skier, you or Fenris?
I won't say anything about that in case he's listening.
Oh. So it's you're better? That's funny.
I think, you know what? I think we're pretty equal. I think we have a lot of mileage on skis, both of us.
Right.
I also suspect that he also been on the mountains. That requires different kinds of type of skis.
Mm-hmm.
You need this steel on the side of the skis to grab hold of the ice, because up in the mountains it's no loose snow. It's just ice.
That sucks. That's bad.
But if you have this special skis with this metal side, that's no problem.
Now,
so,
one thing I've noticed about skiers the last time I went is they have these. They're like 2 feet long boards.
Yeah.
Do they do that where you're at?
Yeah. It was huge when we were kids. We call it jet ski. Yeah.
Yep.
Jet ski. Yeah. Or mini ski. The mini ski was a little bit bigger and black. And the jet skis were all kinds of colors. Orange, blue, whatever. The small ones. Yeah, them are for kids.
Well, they do it for like tricks and stuff here. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's the same with if can compare it with BMX, like grown men on bicycles playing around in the street.
That's funny.
So it's basically for kids, but it's a sport, now.
Right.
Same with skateboards, I guess.
Well, I had one more little thing, but I'm gonna say fuck that and ask you, like what other hobbies do you have other than skiing?
Hobbies? I like cycling.
Okay.
It's something about it. I discovered this thing about, let's say, 10, 15 years ago. And it's about how to find a way where you can get into the zone. I'm not talking about fuck is the English word for it? Meditation.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's when you ski or swim or bicycle or something which is a repeatable thing. You're doing the same thing, repetition all the time, and then you get into a zone, and then suddenly, poof, you're gone. You are meditating.
Okay.
And I found my way into this meditation with bicycling.
Wow.
And everybody knows anything about meditation is that that's a great thing. You are just dislocated from your own where you are, and you're just somewhere else. And you don't know it before you wake up, and then you realize, oh, shit, I was gone for a moment there. You don't know it when you're just sitting on your lotus pillow, but you see it when you're all bicycling, because when you wake up, you're somewhere else.
That's awesome.
Because you're moving at the same time. You're moving, you're seeing, you're operating the bicycle, but you're not there. Your mind is gone. Mm-hmm. And this is what humans need. It's like the natural drug. It's, it's like drugs, basically. You get hooked on it. And so I bicycle a lot.
Right. Now,
so it's,
when you...
listening to music, bicycling around, and it's also, I have this almost like it's an OCD now on it. I have to do it, otherwise I feel shitty. So I do it every day unless it rains.
Okay.
2.5 hours.
Bicycling in the rain would not be very fun.
No, it's not good. I do that too, but I don't have this thing over the back tire. I was cheap in the store. They sell you the bike, and then they say, "Oh, do you want, all this extra thing, with the cup holder and everything is extra." So I'm always like, "Fuck no, don't need anything."
They always swing you into something else.
Yeah, and then what is the thing where you have over the tires to avoid the spruiting of the water and stuff?
Oh yeah, it's like what trucks have.
Yeah. What is it called?
I don't know. I just call it like a wheel cover or like a...
Yeah, wheel cover. Right. So I don't have a wheel cover on the back tire of my bicycle. So it's kind of... My whole backside just gets sprayed with whatever, it's... it's the muddy fucking trails and stuff I'm on sometimes, and it really looks like
you shit your pants.
Yeah, basically, and also all over my shirt, and it's not like only the pants; it's the whole backside. It's from back of the head and all the way down. So that's very bad. And in Norway, when that happens, that's not good because it starts to get a little bit cold on your way home, and you're soaking wet, and the sun goes down over here, and we're getting into the fall now. Forget it. Fuck them. You're in bed 14 days with fever and coughing and the whole fucking thing. And that's not good now these days with this COVID shit going on.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Well,
But last thing for the listeners, I guess this thing goes mostly out to the US, right?
Yeah.
So I see some stuff on internet, like when we posting our next tour.
Yeah.
That was was going to happen it was actually happening now in September, which was cancelled, and now it's in March next year, and it's Europe first. And then I see some people start to post, like, yeah, but why the fuck don't you come to the United States? I'm like, hey, give me a fucking break here. We'll get over there as soon as fucking possible.
Yeah, it's not a quick hike.
It's not possible now. It's not possible.
Right.
I just hope that by the time we come down again, I hope September, October next year. That's the earliest I can see. And when that happens, I hope the fucking clubs and the truck liners and the backline companies and everything is still there.
Right.
If you
They're
know what
prepared.
I mean.
They got to be prepared for the fucking pigs.
Not that they have. I mean, even the cleaning people have to be ready with the fucking mops and everything. No, what I'm saying is like all these clubs, they need to be there. They need to not go bankrupt until we get back there.
Yeah.
And your government is not very helpful when it comes to these things. And so I hope that, when the travel restrictions ends, it doesn't mean that we can go back to business as usual unless all these things are still there.
Right.
So I hope that America won't get too fucked up over the next year.
Yeah, the whole thing with,
this is we can come over, but are you going to be ready for it?
Well,
I fucking hope so.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be fucking ready. I'm pissed off. I haven't seen you. It's irritating. But, right on.
Yeah. No, but we were there in March.
Yeah.
Already, already ready to do the tour. That tour is just postponed. It's not cancelled in that sense. It's cancelled in the sense that it doesn't happen when it was supposed to. But as soon as things comes back again, we're gonna be back. And you're all going to just have to support all the local clubs as best as you can, until we get back there.
Right on.
So, that's basically the situation right now. So, stop posting shit like, why are we doing Europe before United States?
Yep.
This is why I stay away from social medias, because there's just so many haters out there.
Oh, I know. It's horrible.
It's
you want to hear something fucking funny? So
yeah.
I posted that Gall interview, right? And this guy, he comments, he goes, why didn't you ask this question? I'm like, I don't know. Are you the fucking interviewer? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have your brain. There's so many ideas, and people, they think that they can get their point across by just typing some shit.
Yeah.
But
these people, unfortunately, are the most stupid, and they are all based on wrong facts. They have no clue. And that's what pisses me off. If there's people who really knew what they were talking about, but then again, they would never post idiotic shit like this,
Yeah.
They just go, that goes without saying, if you have a half brain cell, you don't post shit on the band's own fucking pages and stuff like that, with this kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So,
come back to America.
I just saw something, come back to America. Why the fuck? You're like, yeah. Calm the fuck down. We are on our way all the time. And since we started tour in America, it was 98. We should have been a long time before, but as some of you know, we had some people in the band that died and stuff. So it's hard to get the shit going on the road. But when we did, 1998, we've been there every second year.
Right on.
Approximately.
Yeah.
For the last 22 years.
Yeah, it just goes to show you. I feel like if you're an international band, you make it back 3 times, like you're obviously going to come back.
Yeah. We have stashed shitloads of all the shit we had with us. Vinyls and all kinds of cool merchandise we have stuck in a friend's house in Chicago.
Okay.
So and there was a bunch of we printed a lot of t-shirts and stuff with a tour printed on the back also, and it's available on our web stores.
Okay.
For
right on.
Tour.
So how could these people support you right now? What's the best way?
The best way would be trying to get rid of those shirts and go through our web pages. We have a US web page. I'm not sure, but just Google it, and you'll be directed into where you see the items. If you were supposed to go to any of those concerts, the coolest, the best way to support us would be like buying one of these shirts, and everybody from now on, and when you wear that shirt, know that tour didn't happen, and you bought it directly from the band, and you're a true supporter in all sense. Yeah.
Right on.
So, but it's limited. I think I don't know exactly, but we sold out 30% of the stock pretty quick. But I guess that it should be all the 3-4 designs still available. So yeah, and me, yeah. So, and there were some festivals also. I don't think is that Psycho Las Vegas that is also announced cancelled, I think. But we are on the same bill. I think it's for August next year.
Yeah, I can't wait, dude. When this shit, I feel like people are gonna realize how important music, how like you have to support these venues if you want them around. And times like these, I feel like it's gonna unify the metal community a lot better.
Absolutely.
When stuff comes back.
Absolutely. This is what I think too. The metal community is a special community, and these people make it happen. And it's not like other fake, trendy shit. This has been here for a long time. This is more like a brother. When you have your battle vest on, everybody recognizes a brother, you know, or a sister. And when you come up closer, you can actually see how close relative you are. If you have a Venom patch, you're in my family. You know, if you have Iron Maiden patch, well, you're in my bunch of friends.
In an interview with Kerrang, you mentioned being inspired by Lemmy from Motorhead because of his distorted bass, which led you to buy like your first distortion pedal. Is that correct?
Not entirely, but yes. When I heard Motorhead the first time, I think it was in 1980 or 81. Then that was the first time I ever heard any distorted bass guitar. And of course it appealed to me.
Right.
So much that I thought to myself, this is it. You know, this is the way to go. Because I was already playing bass in a punk band or a rock band. And we were kind of searching for the right musical way to go, so to speak. So it had a great and big influence on me. My first amplifier didn't have any. There was no. It was a very simple thing. It was so they had no. It was just on and off basically.
Right.
So I bought an English amplifier called HH Electronics, which had a button which said sustain. Fuck knows what it meant, but it gave, that was the distortion. Yeah. So, it wasn't a guitar amplifier, obviously, but, no, I didn't buy an effect pedal, but I had that special button on that guitar amplifier I had. And that amplifier, actually, we took it to the Death Crush recordings, recorded Death Crush with it. I took it with me for all the live gigs we did with Dead. Yep. And finally, Vikenes and Øystein came to my place and borrowed it for the recording of the Mysteries.
Right on.
So it's also there. When we started up again in 94, also the year after Øystein was killed, it was still alive for a couple of years, and then it fucked up. After that, I bought that's when I started to buy the distortion pedals.
Right.
The first I had, I think I bought a Rat Vintage first. Was very happy with that for a couple of years. Then that got stolen. And then I had some different Boss pedals. Heavy Metal 2, some other, can't even remember the names.
Right.
Then I had a Marshall pedal one time. It was in a metal case, with a metal finish. It casing, very heavy little thing. Was very happy with that until I stepped on it, it got fucked up on stage. And then I went back to heavy metal 2, which I know these days are playing on. Also, I had a couple of other rap pedals and stuff, but I never found the same sound, and it's because I also change amplifiers. So when you change amplifiers,
it's a whole different animal.
Yeah, totally different the thing altogether. So I have to, search for new pedal every time I change my gear.
Now, as of right now, what is your rig like? Do you have that pedal in the loop?
Yeah, it's still here. I still have my old beat of fucking heavy metal, both heavy metal too. But now I have secured a nice deal with a Swedish company called EBS.
Yep.
They, I got their main head, a Waffer, which I use and for live recordings.
Yep.
I use something recordings. I use something else actually, but this is what I play on live these days. So they have 8x10 rig, but I have my old Ampeg 8x10, so I'm happy with it. It's a professional case.
Right. Ampeg, that specific cabinet, I've been told, is like the cabinet. That's all you need.
Yeah, it is.
What?
That's mother of all cabinets.
Right.
So yeah.
So off of this recording, you brought up recording. Do you tend to? This might be a dumb question, but I don't know. Black metal, it's weird. Do you mic up your bass cab or do you go direct?
Go direct.
You go direct?
Yeah, these days we all go direct, of course.
Okay.
Straight to the board. We don't even use heads these days. It's all software.
Okay.
But back in the days, we would just amp up, mic up the amps, back in '87 when we recorded them.
Yep.
So that time, and then we also recorded live.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Right.
That doesn't happen much these days.
With freaking Corona, but hopefully it swings by soon.
Yeah, you mean for us coming over to the United States again?
Yes. I have not seen you guys. I missed you the one time you guys came to Rochester, and I've been pissed off since.
Well, I think we played Rochester at least 3 times, Ben.
Yep.
Over the last, let's say, first time we were in Rochester, let's say 15 years ago. And then I think we've been at 3 times. But in the greater New York area,
yep,
we played shitloads everywhere, which is great. I love the East Coast. I love the West Coast too.
Now I know
Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
Midland, everything. It's a pleasure. Touring in the States is always a pleasure. It's always fun. It's
right.
Yeah.
So here's something else for you. Do you have any prize instruments or band equipment that never leaves the house?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I have a Gibson Les Paul custom that I bought in '95.
Yep.
And was bringing that around the world, but it was taking such a toll on me mentally because, staring at the roller from, the bag roller at the airport and thinking,
no.
Is it going to show up now? Is it going to show up now? It was just too much because sometimes it didn't show up.
Yeah.
I got it always back. But I think that was more luck, because I lost all the gear and suitcases over the years. So in the end, I just couldn't bring it with me. So, in the end, it was just too much. And I only bring it, tours in Europe and direct flights.
Right.
I could do.
I
But
remember.
I was lucky enough to find an Epiphone, which I really liked, and but then found myself actually picking the Epiphone over the Gibson, because it was so easy action, easy to play. It's a very slim neck, and then I was arriving over to the United States last time in March. Did a pre-production in Chicago. We rented a venue called the Metro for a week, because we had to do a little pre-production. We're on the way to Denver, and when the Corona thing hit, and turned the bus around, went up to Chicago here, and fuck out there. That was 10th of March.
Right.
So that was, talk about bad timing. But back to the instruments. So I had management order a Gibson Les Paul for me, and it was waiting at the venue. So, but it didn't come. Yeah, so it didn't come with the bill or anything. So I asked my management, "What's going on here? Where is the bill? How much was it?" And then I was told that Gibson now officially sponsored me. So yeah. So I was on the way and was going to meet one of the representatives in Los Angeles. But we had to go. We did. I never made it that far. So and since everything has been. I haven't talked to them since, but I brought the Gibson back with me that they gave me.
Yeah.
So that's good. Very happy about that.
Wow. The thing with
pick out something else also, because they just sent me this. I just picked it out from the catalog. I need to to go into a store and feel the instrument myself, to pick out the right one. So I hope that, or that's what's going to happen. I have to come down to LA and see if I can find a bass with my name on it, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. The thing with going across the country doing tours, like I've heard so many horror stories from the luggage people just chucking thousands of dollars in equipment on a plane, and it comes back and it's freaking shot.
Yeah, it's not them actually. It's them too, but it's the Homeland Security. They are the one that's fucking up all instruments and luggage and all the flight cases, and They're broken into all of my cases. I stopped locking them, but they're so stupid that they can't even.
They can't even unlock it.
These days, they just break up the suitcases before they even try to figure out how to open. I mean, it doesn't take much intelligence to open a fucking weird suitcase. I'll tell you that. So it pissed me off. I mean, this flight cases is like $500. $500 a piece, man. And and every fucking time I come to the United States, they break into the case. I find this little note from them.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that. Exactly. So, but it is what it is. I mean, you guys are paranoid now, and with all rights. Yeah, I mean, so much shit's going on. So, I don't blame you, but it's shitty to be. I mean, I remember the days where you could. I'm so old that I can actually remember you could fire up a cigarette in the plane.
Yeah.
Smokers in the back, non-smokers in the front. Talk about how the times have changed.
Right.
Like back in the days, you can have anything. There was no concern about what you had in your pockets. For example, you will never be searched, or you would need. Back in the days, they didn't even ask for ID when you went on the plane.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like
interrogation.
It's fucking ludicrous, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you captured that whole question better than I could even thought of.
I can tell you the whole thing culminates into the 1.5 hour I'm on stage. That makes everything
makes it worth it.
Makes it worth all that.
And that perfectly leads into my next question. Now I think about it.
Okay.
So
perfect.
So when people talk about the visual aspect of a Mayhem set, they talk, pyro, animal parts, barbed wire. Is there anything that you've wanted to test out that you haven't been able to do?
We have. There's always a lot of ideas that have come up over the years, and when you just mentioned what you mentioned yourself, those were some of the shock elements, let's say, and they came from somewhere, from my imagination, and we have been bouncing around a lot of ideas over the years. Some things I'm glad we never ended up doing, to put it like that.
Yeah.
And but we always, I think there's always some sort of a show element. And when I mean by that, I don't mean Broadway. I mean it's supposed to be also create some sort of atmosphere for the music,
right?
To fit in, a fitting atmosphere.
Yep.
So we bring some sort of a stage, some elements we think will fit in with the concept, and since we are dealing with aggressive, negative, dark, satanic, blasphemic, all this kind of dark and negative stuff. That's what we saw. That's what we focus on. And
yep.
I think we did everything that we did some very fucked up things in the 90s.
Right.
I remember throwing out razor blades to the audience and with Mayhem logos on and stuff, which was not very smart in the 90s. There's always this animal parts, but after we took them into the audience, they start to come back on stage and stuff, and that wasn't always that funny. And I don't know if I should say this, but there was some talk about back in the 90s. It was actually in the late 80s. Some of the late members was talking about actually sacrificing live stock on stage. But of course, that was just I don't know if that was black humor but luckily that never got to that point.
Right.
Because that would be just too much.
Right.
If you think down the way lines of, for example, with Ozzy Osbourne biting off the bat head, going down those kind of lines, where how to top Ozzy Osbourne on that, for example,
Okay.
More like that, and
So
but these days, I think we've been touring so many years now. So we find people that we work with, artists and stuff, and so it differs from different people we collaborate with. We have textile artists on some tours, and some other tours we have metal sculpture artists.
Mm-hmm.
And also light designers, all kinds of stuff, you know. So
right, you got a team.
Yeah, and we're still evolving. You know, we're hiring new people as we go down the line. You know,
Right.
people we randomly meet or people we seek up because we have an ID, for example.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is going to be awesome. I feel like there's some stories that we haven't heard, you know, about coming to the United States and trying to acquire these items. Do you have any, like, funny stories about that?
Yeah, well, these days, you know what? It's more like the local promoters. Then we come there and they're like, so guys, where's the pig heads? and we're like, yeah, you know, sorry, only amplifiers in the trailer this time.
Mm-hmm.
But then they get, you know, and some of these people have ideas like, yeah, no, my brother owns the slaughterhouse, you know, maybe we can call him, you know, get some.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And stuff like that. So, stories, I don't know. One story that pops in my head was we played in North Carolina one time, and we arrived there early. So the bus parked outside the venue. Local people showed up. This question about this thing popped up, and so some guys hauled over to the slaughterhouse, was sitting on the back of this pickup truck, deep into, you know, the, you know, deliverance, avalanches, you know, deep into the avalanches. So arriving into this really burned down slaughterhouse in the middle of fucking nowhere. This guy comes out and he's missing most of his fingers and stuff, you know, because of accidents, you know, with cutting knives and stuff. And there's a shack outside where we get into a conversation with this woman, and she's living on the premises there and wants to party with us and start to show boobs and stuff. Like, this woman is in her 60s. She's black.
You're
American.
like, all right, I'm just trying to leave.
So you're like,
here.
what the fuck? And turns out this is the friend of the guy who's showing us around the slaughterhouse. Now, we are inside the slaughterhouse, walking around. There's corpses, dead carcasses hanging around and stuff. And his brother shows up. And he's like, hey, you can't bring people into the slaughterhouse. They don't have any suits on and stuff, you know, because it's, you know, against the health regulations.
Right. Yep.
And he was smoking a cigarette in there, which I was reacting on immediately. In the fucking cooler there, he's like, had 2 fingers missing on his right hand, was smoking a cigarette, and was like bragging about, yeah, we fucking kill all them animals. You see all the blood stains on the walls here. And then his brother shows up there, and then they start to fight. Like, get these fucking people out of here. And he's like, oh, fucking, I own this place. Get the fuck out of here yourself. And we were like, oh, shit. So that's when we went outside. And then this woman's like, hey, where are you partying at tonight? We're like, oh, shit. So we got the head. Bought a pig head. Went back to this venue.
Imagine if they showed up to the freaking show, man.
And one of the reasons why I'm remembering this is we had this photographer with us to document the tour, and he sent me this pictures afterwards of the trip.
Man.
So
you can just imagine.
It's unbelievable. It's like it's total Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know. Except we live to tell the story.
Wow.
Oh, fuck. Some of the times when we played in Texas and stuff, then promoters had got some cow heads because they couldn't find pig heads, obviously. And we were in Tokyo one time and went down to the fish market 5 o'clock in the morning because, you know, it's impossible to get pig heads and stuff. So we went to the fish market instead and got this bunch of this huge, I don't think it was tuna, but it was big and ugly. And had that on steaks. So, yeah.
Damn.
Oh, we did it. We did it all.
I want to see this freaking tuna now I think about it.
It
That's
was
awesome.
crazy. And I think Attila was in this kind of Jesus outfit with the sandals, and it's just this fucking rope. So this looked like a bed sheets around him or something. And he was dealing out fish and bread to the people.
Wow.
I think that was in Tokyo. While this fish heads was going on the sides and stuff.
That's
insane. And the smell and the whole thing was...
dude, I could just imagine. Yeah. Tuna fucking reeks, man.
Dude, we had all this fish in the backstage, the whole night, before they came on.
Plus, I think just the smell of, like, metalheads are usually smelly itself. And then add tuna in the mix. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. Yeah. But, Tokyo, they don't mind a little fish smell.
Right. Okay, here's my last question, and then I have, like, a few more after. But
yeah, okay.
So, one thing I noticed about you and a few of your members is you don't wear corpse paint. I mean, your vocalist does. Mm-hmm. But this quote I found online, you never know if it's accurate or not, but it said, I've always thought of it was, a bit too much, and I am who I am. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like me.
Okay.
Yeah. When we started out, Øystein had this idea about having some, but it wasn't called corpse paint at that time.
Right.
That was before that, And he was inspired by King Diamond, and I guess Kiss before that, Alice Cooper, and these people who had facial of makeup on stage. So, and then when Dead showed up, he already had that thing going with this, and that's when the name Corpse Paint came about. I never heard it before. So I guess he invented that.
Yep.
That term. And then Øystein was, when we was gonna do some gigs, Øystein also wanted to paint himself. And I told him that, since me and Jan I'm not into it, and it's not gonna be like a unison thing, then I told him that it's better than let the Dead do it, only him do it, because otherwise it would be looking strange. Because of the impression on stage, but he didn't. I think he just pushed on his agenda to try to make the rest of us do it too.
Right.
But that didn't happen. But he pushed through, and he had his own makeup thing going, both in later photo sessions and some of the gigs we did. But
so,
yeah, it's true. I was never into it.
Okay.
Myself, but I am into a unison look.
Right.
So it
the
means,
robe.
for example, I like, for example that, or like everybody's in black, or everybody's in commando SWAT, or, so it's some kind of a unison thing going on. Not like one has red pants on and the other one has a green shirt, That's not us.
Right.
And, but, Øystein took it a little bit, also, it took it a little bit too, it's just a little bit too much, with the with that facial paint and stuff. And then afterwards, a lot of people jumped on that.
Right.
This corpse paint thing, and it became very huge. I never got inspired by that to do it myself either. You know, I was not into it in the beginning. I never got into it after it was kind of accepted or maybe even more common, let's say, for this thing called black metal. I was never into this putting labels on music either. When we started out, there was some bands were sounding different, and they were called Motorhead, Slayer, and Venom and stuff like that. It didn't have a name.
Yeah.
Venom had an album called Black Metal.
Yep.
But I don't think anybody had did anybody have an album called Thrash Metal?
No.
No. So that term just came on a lot of bands. But this black metal thing, that came from that album specifically. So, yeah, that fell out there. Yeah, so, but, no, this thing with this corpse paint and this black metal thing, I never got into it myself. But I think that some bands, you know, there is a theateristic element to it that kind of suits some of the musical expressions. Like, for example, the flamboyant thing with Dimmu Borgir or the more downscaled with the Tåke, for example, with the Höst and from Tåke, or for example, also, I mean, ABBA. Yeah. But that's a mix between, I don't know, there's some elements of Kiss there, but I think he's a huge Kiss fan.
Right.
So I think it's spawned off from that more than anything. And then you have some other people like Gal, for example, from Gorgoroth. It's different style again, but really, you know, that's more of a... Yeah, that's his interpretation. So everybody has their own interpretation too. I like Nottefrost, for example, from Carpenter Forest. He always had this cool facial thing. Let's see. Of course, Dead. Of course, I mean, he was cool. So I like some of it, but I think most of it, unfortunately, doesn't look that cool.
Right. Now, do you feel any irritation for, you know, them kind of taking this idea and evolutionizing it, or do you appreciate it?
No, that's we did that ourselves, and that's all musicians do that. Right. Everybody inspired by something to make their own thing.
Right.
And, you know, and that's even back to the old masters like Mozart and Beethoven, but they stole everything themselves. But we don't call it stealing when it comes to the great masters. Everybody is inspired by something, and that's where it's spawned from. And that the fact that a lot of bands are influenced by us is great. Right. That means that we did something good.
Yeah, you made a movement.
So let other people get inspired by us, like we were inspired by Motorhead, for example.
Right on, right to the beginning.